In this video, we're going to walk through using an if-then-else statement to control the LED screen display on the microbit. If the light level is under a set value, we'll display a butterfly. Otherwise, we'll clear the screen. It's similar to another video that I did, which just uses an if statement to control the display. I did this in two different ways to show the difference in the flow of logic between the two examples. Both programs are on the playlist that's listed in the show notes. Here's the make code blocks example of the if-then-else statement, and we'll duplicate this behavior in the Python code. So as you can see, we're using a forever loop and then an if-then-else statement. The icon's displayed within the if, so if this statement is true, light level less than 50, it'll show the icon of a butterfly. And then in the else statement, so that means the value up here would be greater than or equal to 50, it clears the screen. There's a link to this program in the show notes as well. Now I'm going to go over here in the simulator and I'm going to lower the value to less than 50 and the butterfly appears. Now I'm going to raise it up and it disappears when we go over 50. Now we want to duplicate this program in Python. Here I am in the main Python window and the default code is displayed. We're going to leave the first two lines because the first line is a comment which just says that this second line needs to be imported ahead of any other commands running so that we have all the functionality that we need to code the microbit in Python. The next line is another comment saying that while true acts like a forever loop, so we'll leave that. Then the line after that displays a heart on the LED array. And we just want to change that to a butterfly, so I'm going to delete heart. And then I'm going to start typing in butterfly. And we see that right there in the list, and I'll click on that and we've changed it. Now we don't need these next two lines, so I'm just going to delete them. And then the next thing we want to do is put in an if statement. I'm going to do it right above the display.show. And we want to have it indented because everything in the while true block needs to be indented at least one level for Python to recognize it as being in the forever loop. If you're unsure of how to construct an if statement, you can click on this right-facing arrow here and then type if into the search area, and that will pull up references and examples. And I can see here that the second listing is if, else if, and else. So it has the two commands that we need. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I have an example right here of how the if should look. So it's if, and this is a variable, less than a value. And so we're going to duplicate that more or less over here. So I'm going to say if, and the next thing we want to do is look for the light level value. And I know microbit uses the LED display to determine the ambient light. So I'm going to type in display. And then I see read light level appear in the list. I'm going to click on that. Next, I want a less than arrow. And after that, I want 50. And then, as you can see in the example, we need a colon at the end of that. So I'm going to put a colon in. Any commands that we want to happen if this statement is true have to be indented. So I'm going to indent this. Next, what we want to do is put in the else. And if you don't know how to do the else, you could scroll down in this list and see if we can find an example of it. Else has to have a colon after it as well. So we'll just go ahead and type in else. We want that outdented from this display line back to the same level as the if. And then colon. Now the next line needs to be indented and we want to clear the screen. And I'm going to type in display dot and clear appears, and I'm going to click on that. Okay, that should be it for the code. Now we can go ahead and test this in the simulator. So I'm going to click on this left-facing arrow, and here's the simulator for the microbit. So I'm going to click on play, and then I'm going to go down to these icons in the lower right corner, and these icons represent inputs that are available on the microbit, and the second one is the sun, and this is the light level. And then I'm going to click on this and drag it down below 50. And as soon as I get below 50, the butterfly appears. Now I'll drag it back up. And it disappears. Okay, so that works. Now we can test this on our microbit. We can download it either using Bluetooth or by plugging our microbit in using a USB cable and downloading it as a file. And here it is on the microbit, and you can see that when I lower the light, the butterfly comes on, and then when I raise the light, the screen clears. So that all works the way we wanted it to. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to get new content. Thanks for watching.